So I woke up from taking a nap and I want to tell you what they're talking about. They keep talking about they would like to see the Lacoste Chester video. They talked about sex parties and legalizing this type of harassment. Okay, so let's talk about those things and let's get into more of this conversation. So they said what they're trying to do is say it out loud and then quietly say something else and see if I react. Because they can't seem to understand that out loud means you hear it, it's not going in your brain. The question to me, for them, is what do they think is the difference between microwave hearing and saying things at different volumes? When I found out that this was happening, I had no idea they were microwaving anything on me. In 2016, I went to the ER because I had a really bad pain on my side and I didn't know what was causing it. I, at some point, thought maybe it's my appendix. It was a pain like so horrible. I normally wouldn't go to the ER. I think the last time I went to the ER, that was in 2016, could have been in 2007 or so because I stepped on something and it was in my foot and I took it out of my foot. And then my mom was like, "You should really go to the ER because you don't know what that is." And I had to get a shot, so make sure it wasn't anything bad. So, meaning the last time I went to the ER was something was in my foot, and I had to take it out my foot. So then to go to the ER for such a sharp pain in 2016, something was wrong, and they admitted. So when they were using microwave heating on me, it was in direct contact with my head. You saw my face got swollen. And I'm going to see for this video if I can show you a picture of me in 2016 when my face wasn't swollen, how thin it looked. So clearly something was going on. And when they admitted that they were using this, they said they were using it so I could see dreams and that they were always using it. And I'm saying to them, the technology didn't always exist. We can't keep going back and forth on facts. This is my point. You know, they said truth is relative. No, that's not true. Truth is always true. Dealing with them is relative. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. Today they're really down. For some reason they were nastier today than usual. But I think it's partly because they're facing the truth. And I don't think people at certain levels ever really face the truth. You know, when they said they hired me to bring me down, meaning at Lacoste, because I worked at Barclay Center for only a little while in 2018, and I was so sick. And people would come in wearing Lacoste clothing, meaning the two shouldn't have been connected, but they were. So anyway, they're trying to say that this was on Barclay. It was happening before Barclay. So meaning, what does one have to do with the other? Anyway, so what I'm telling them is sometimes people get so high up that they don't face the truth. And if this is them facing the truth, they can't handle it. So they thought I was going to break down and cry, they said, because they said I broke down and cried at Bloomingdale's. That was not what happened. And this is my point. They keep trying to connect things in a way like people who don't know how to connect things. Like, what about, crying at something doesn't connect to always crying at something. It's not human nature. And they're trying to make me into a computer. That's what they said. They used to say they're going to turn me into a robot. Impossible. You cannot turn a human being into a robot. So they said, well, if they said the word strategically place these lumps so that it would vibrate at different places. That still isn't turning me into a robot. I don't know what they mean, but I'm going to put in the video description about transhumanism. Oh, they wanted to keep talking about whether the book, the Northbury Papers, was printed afterwards to include me in it with a description of me. And that's how in 2019, when they falsely accused me of claiming I was gang raped, they referenced the book. Well, that's a whole other issue. So if they falsely accuse me of something referencing a book that they created, that's a whole other issue. But the book does exist. You can Google it. The Northbury Papers, the writer is Joanne Dobson, Dobson. So that's a whole other issue if that's what they're saying now. But going back to all of this, what they did wrong is they said they went back to two people from my past who I haven't been in contact with and used them to create this AI. Big mistake. The other big mistake is if I had such a bad problem someplace, they wouldn't have given me a good reference letter. They wouldn't have given me good reviews. That's another big mistake of theirs. You cannot go back in time and change the facts after the facts already existed. So when they keep talking about they wrote things in real time, yes, they did. Reference letters are in real time. Commendations are in real time. Thank you cards are in real time. Love letters are in real time. You can't then go back after the fact and say, I wrote it in real time the right way, but now it's wrong because I don't like you anymore. Again, you can't live like that. The other big deal I wanted to talk about, um, oh, their point is they're saying that they wanted, oh, they talked about mulattoes. They said that, again, for those of you who know this type of stuff, this isn't something I would know. Once a mulatto, always a mulatto, meaning if someone is mixed race, mates with someone else who's mixed race, and mates with someone else who's mixed race, then you will always be a mulatto. And they said that that to me makes no sense because a lot of black people are mixed race, so you wouldn't have any black people. But that's part of what it seems like people want to get to, where black people aren't black people anymore. Now that we know how much black people have accomplished, now we're not black. I mean, once the history comes forward with the truth that black people were a very accomplished race, now we can't be black. Now everybody's going to be black. Well, then that makes my point. My point has always been that race is something that was made up and it can always be changed. And if you're going to talk about race in that way, then all the racism that existed should be compensated. I am for reparations for people who are descendants of American slaves. Thank you for watching.